In today's episode, we talk about Danny on Spice. We talk about a lot of shit, hitting fans, how to deal with obstacles, and much, much more. See you on the inside. Welcome back to episode number 41.
4-1, boys.
41 of the No Rep podcast. I'm with none other Evan Middleton.
Hello.
And Warhammer Champion 2023, Danny.
He's a level
Holland.
10 swordsmaster.
Level 10 Swordsmaster.
Valhalla or something? Is that what they say?
What is happening, Trips? How are we?
I'm coming down for that last episode in the cyberspace world.
Mate,
a stormer.
it was a belter of an episode, but it was also a lot of intensity from Danny. So if you've not checked that episode out, man, you should go watch it because it was good. It was a good episode from.
See,
I came loaded. Fully loaded.
I prepared. It was like John Wick.
Yeah, he's ready, man.
he was like, killed his dog. He's fucking angry. It was good, but see, I was actually thinking the other day. See, if you were if you were to start listening to a new podcast, like say the No Rep podcast, for example, would you listen to the first episode or the latest episode?
Mental, you've mentioned that because. So see on Anchor, right, the platform I use to post the podcast, right, you can go along and see on the days how many listens you get, and I'll hover the mouse right along from the days, and it'll be like, so if you go back to way back when we posted first episode 1, obviously we got a lot of views on that one, and then see like even like last week, a couple of weeks ago, it will still be like 14 plays on episode 2, 13 plays on episode 5, 4 plays on episode 1. So people do go back.
To go back and listen to them.
Do you think that's new people? Can you figure that out?
No, it must be a new person. I think that. So yes and no, right? So I started a new podcast, and it was a guy called Bedros Keuilian. Started listening to his podcast. They're brilliant. They're really, really good. He speaks a lot. It's basically geared towards like men, masculine shit. How to be a good man, how to
Guns
be a good
and
business
bears
owner,
and shit.
how to look after
Taxes.
yourself, all the rest of it, right? And I maybe caught it about
Cologne.
episode 10.
I'm just saying words.
So I went back so he started in episode 10. He had it. So see when you go on his profile though, you go back and see below episode 1, there's like 450 episodes of other shit that he's done in the past. But he started like a new show, rebranded it, called it the Bedros Keuilian Show. So I actually caught it about episode 5 or 6, and it came up my YouTube, and I went, I'm going to watch this from episode 1. So I think that if it's early on, I will. See if I caught the No Rep podcast now, episode 41. I probably see, unless it was guests I seen, I was like maybe go on them, or if I seen a title I'd maybe go back. But for the most part I'll probably just pick up where it left off. But I only listen to podcasts now if I'm interested in the guest, or I listen to all of Bedros's episodes.
What's it about? Oh, like Sky stuff.
Huh?
Just men and
Fucking guy stuff, man.
Guns
It's
and
actually
shit.
a bit of a secret weapon. I don't want to tell too many people about it because it's actually fucking sick.
Is it brilliant?
It's so good, man.
Shout out.
So shout out Bedros Keuilian. He's fucking, a lot of the stuff he said, I'm like, that's life changing.
Do you know, I went on to, when we went to Marrakesh recently, I was like downloading podcasts and stuff for the plane, and I looked on Rogan's, and Rogan's on like episode 1,000.
No, nearly 2,000, mate.
Nearly
He's
1,900. Whatever it is, right? I went straight back off it. I was like, nah, I don't even want to try and look through all that.
Really?
It put me off.
Does it?
Yeah. Yes, I've listened to that one with You and Me Park.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good podcast. That's
Yeah.
The heavies.
The heavies.
The heavies.
Oh my
The heavies,
God.
bro.
The heavy?
She got the heavies.
She's got the heavies.
She's got the heavy.
The heavy one.
According to
Andrew Schultz. There was an Andrew Schultz thing where, so Andrew Schultz went on the podcast after You Know Me. You know me, Park. I'm not too sure. I'm probably butchering her name. And then Andrew Schultz was like, "Yeah, it can't be all bad though. 'Cause she's got the heavies."
She's got the...
And she ended up going on his show, and there was a whole thing where he was like, "It's like I need to let her in on the joke. I need to tell you." So he phoned her, and he went, "You kind of got this joke about the fact that you got big tits," and then we called them the heavies, and she was cool about it and laughed and blah blah blah.
Did you know what she said? She said, no one's ever made fun of me to my face before. Obviously, that's the first time I've done it, but she loved it. She just found it hilarious. Aye.
Wow, that story, by the way.
Oh, man.
Mental.
Wow. If anybody wants to go listen to any other podcast other than our own, It's a fucking wild, wild story.
Do you know what I was actually? The story's horrific, right? I was watching The Interview the other night with Seth Rogen and Rogan.
Seth Rogen.
Is this his name?
Seth Rogen.
Rogan, potato. And
Scott
Think him and Joe Rogan are like. Never thought
And,
about that.
it's not Dave Franco. Is it Dave Franco?
There's Dave Franco and there's
Who's the other one?
James Franco.
James. Thank you, Paul. And James, hilarious because it's obviously about trying to kill Kim Jong.
Oh, yeah,
The
I remember
Dictator?
that movie.
The Dictator.
No, the interview.
No, the interview, that's
the
it.
Dictator was
Dictator's Borat.
Sacha
Yeah,
Baron
Sacha Baron
Cohen.
Cohen,
Aye,
that's
that's a fucking movie, by the way. That's so good.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day as well. Like, see, like the Ali G stuff and the Borat stuff wouldn't fly now. But it would fly less.
No. People say this. No, I think the world needs it.
Well, Borat 2 came out only a few years ago.
No, people need it. I think it will fly because I think that we need more of that stuff to come back into the world. Like, I've noticed that South Park and Family Guy are getting more traction again these days, and I especially noticed it like on my TikTok and
South
on
Park's the goat.
on my reels because they've from the start not give a fuck and they still don't give a fuck, and I think that there's more like we've spoken about this before, right? The whole let's just call it left and right. Even though it's not about being left or not about being right, but the things that are coming more apparent these days with the transgender stuff and all that, and I know we talk about that a lot in the podcast, but like
It's all that's happening on the fucking
all that's fucking
internet.
happening, right? But it's not that there's more of it going on. I think the sides just get stronger and louder and more aggressive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even like, so you're going to get the rise of more of the Borats and the South Parks and the fucking, but then you're also going to get a rise of the,
You're not going to see the in between, are you really? Because the in between's going to be down here somewhere, and the other two ends are going to be.
up, and that's, so I think it will fly, and I think it should fly, and I think it needs to.
There should be more of it.
There should be more of it.
Aye.
Give me more, because I fucking love it.
Why? Do you think it's because it brings like a lighter approach to more serious topics? Well, topics that are perceived to be serious are usually because the people who are pushing them are serious. Do you know what I mean?
What's the question?
I think it's just I think you can make jokes about anything.
Same.
And just because you're making jokes about something that's a bit risky, doesn't make it not funny.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
Exactly, it makes it funnier.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
Do you know what comedian I've been? Matt Rife.
I don't know who that is.
Matt Rife. He's this good looking comedian, right? And he hates it because he's like, I'm not happy with any more than you are. It's like nobody takes me serious and all that because he's this good looking guy. Do you know what I mean? Tall and all that. And he's a pure thirst trap for birds. They scream at him and all
Is
that.
this the
and he
one that
plays
got
up
my
in it.
t-shirt from Iowa? She's like, I came to Iowa and all I left with was a t-shirt and a t-shirt and a blowjob, and it was this MILF that gave him it, and he was like, and then she made him cookies and that as well. Is that the same guy?
Him, that's him, mate.
He's funny, man.
He's hilarious.
Aye,
But
he's funny.
he's great at like some real serious topics.
I
man.
thought he was gay looking at him when I seen
No,
him
no.
because he's that pretty.
He's a good looking guy.
Aye,
man.
I was
Well
like,
put together.
yeah, I'd fuck.
I didn't exist. Listen to the last episode.
you'll get that in the last
Listen to the
episode.
last episode and then you'll get that. What were we here to talk about?
Did you
boy?
say eat his ass?
Yeah.
Danny just wanted to confirm.
Yes. Dealing what you, this is your question, dealing with obstacles, is training even worth it for the aches and pains and niggles?
Two different questions.
There were two
questions.
different things. I had a conversation with someone the other day, and they kept saying, "Is like I feel like life keeps throwing me obstacles,
Right.
right?" And it was a semi bit of tough love, and I also said back to him, I was like, "Listen," I was like, "Life throws everybody obstacles. What you or Andy's going through isn't unique, isn't remarkable, isn't extraordinary. For the most part, everyone has shit. Everyone."
Everybody.
So like,
Different shit.
I think anyway. So before I get into what I think and what I say, like you two can hash that out. But that was what I said. That was the first part. That was the first thing I said to him. Was like, well, life throws everybody obstacles. So that's meant to happen. So that's what he said. Life keeps throwing me obstacles as I don't know how to handle it and what to do.
It's that life is just like a kind of It's like a
It's
re-
like a box of
I was
chocolates.
going to say that. I was gonna say that. It's like a bag of chocolates. You don't never know what you're going to get.
it's like a real life game of Crash Bandicoot. That's
Just shit coming out.
shit's coming in, you're jumping at it, you're still trying
know.
to go, you're still trying to go. That's it. That's life. Then you go F.
That's a, thank you for that insight, Daniel. But this is the thing. Like, it's going to it's not an inevitable thing,
An inevitable.
an inevitable
Evan?
thing that it's just completely unavoidable. Right, shit's going to happen. Right, and see the thing is as well. I think. See when people are planning like their week, even like if we're going to relate it back to fitness and whatever, they only ever plan best case scenario.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get up at this time. This is going to happen. I'm going to get in the bus. The weather's going to be nice. The shop's going to be empty. It's going to have my favourite foods. Like work's not going to stress me. Then I'm going to get home. I'm going to do my ROM wad. I'm going to do my workout. I'm going to bed by 8 o'clock. Right.
Wrong word.
ROM wad. Is that the thing, isn't it?
I mean,
And not anymore. It's constant different now. But you're right.
But I'm right. And but then as soon as sort of spanner's chucked in there, oh,
or a barrel.
or a barrel. yeah, Crash Bandicoot. I got the reference. And don't look disappointed. And but it fucking shit hits the fan, right?
Hold on.
What?
As soon as you said that, visualization of shit hitting a fan. Imagine them. See when people say when shit hit the fan? No, it didn't. No, it didn't. Have you ever been somewhere where shit has hit the fan?
Have you?
Imagine the mess. Picture that.
It would go fucking everywhere.
Right, even in this room, right, you've got a 2-foot fan, right, and there's a jobby, right. You've got a shit that takes up maybe 2 hands, and you chuck that on the fan, and the fan's going at max speed.
Do you know this? This isn't fan related, right? But I've got a story about my brother, right?
Let's go. I love
And,
poop stories. I love poop stories. Let's
No,
go.
but it was when
Oh my
I
God,
remember
man.
this has been like etched into my brain for like my whole life. We used to stay in kind of like a kind of tenement like this in Greenock. And my brother must have been like, sorry Cam for chucking you under the bus here, by the way.
Fucking chuck him under
but
the
can't-
bus.
Does Cam listen to the podcast?
I hope so. Yeah, no, he does. And he was in the bedroom, right? And then me and my mum were coming in with the shops. Somebody was only a wee boy. He was in nappies. No, he was an 18-year-old man. He was in nappies. And we went out. Like, I went out the room, fucking about in the house. And then mum was like,
Oh no.
I can smell something. That's poo, right? Went back into the bedroom, right? And Cameron had, do you know, have you ever heard the term Berlini protest?
No.
Smear shite on the walls.
Smear
no.
shite all over the walls.
Who was that again?
My
Who-
brother.
No. Who was the Scottish person, the Scottish prisoner who smeared shite where his cell was?
Was it actually not the like Bobby Sands and all that area?
No.
They done dirty protests and whatever.
Maybe, but there was a Scottish guy. I can't remember his name.
Can't remember.
Sorry.
But
Fucking bastards.
literally fucking everywhere all over. But he was like 1, 2, whatever age you would be
what
if
was
you were
the name
wearing
of his
nappies
cell?
and all that, right?
Who was
But
watching?
that was without a fan. So imagine.
God.
That was sorry Cam for telling that story.
Wait,
But
just to clarify, was he 1 or 2 or was he 18?
he was 1 or 2.
Okay.
No, he was definitely a child.
Definitely a shit, definitely
But
a shit.
horrific. But anyway, you've completely went off the point now.
What are we talking about again?
When shit hits the fan.
When shit hits the
Imagine
fan.
shit actually hit the fan. That's
Stop
what.
it.
No, that's
Stop
mad.
it.
It's like, right, see if you think, oh, shit hit the fan. Actually think about shit hitting a fan and think about how hard your day could be, right? But anyways, it was about life keeps throwing me obstacles, right?
Aye.
And then
I was basically saying like folk only plan for the best case scenario, right? In my clients' kind of journals or whatever, I get them to have I basically ask them to fail proof their week, right? So what happens if the good stuff doesn't happen? What are you going to do? What's the backup plan? Like where do you go? Because fucking it happens. See, especially if like you're a mum, if and you've got kids, and then like obviously you know what happens if like Hattie will take unwell. You need to drop her off at your parents. Like, what do you then do? How do you then kind of drive yourself forward and push yourself forward if your days went to shit?
Yeah. I've actually started to I've struggled with that a little bit because I'm guilty of that, of being like thinking that the time I've got is 100% my time,
Yep.
and I can just do everything. But as now, that has obviously completely changed. But it's made me manage my time better. Like I've said this before, since having Hattie, like I've now began to be able to manage my time a little bit more effectively. But bringing it back to the whole kind of obstacles thing, and the thing I was saying to them was like, obstacles will be thrown at everyone. Everyone has to deal with obstacles, and there's kind of two different things that you can go down. The first one being that when obstacles happen, because it's inevitable that Andy's going to go through shit. Hit the fan. It's inevitable that people are going to go through shit, but it's how quickly you can then bounce back.
It's inevitable that people will hit the fan. You want to say?
No, I wasn't. But it's how back you can bounce. It's how quickly you can bounce back from being like completely thrown off to then going, right, I'm back on plan, I'm back in action, and I'm back doing what I'm supposed to do. Because people will have a run of a perfect week, something will happen, and then it might take them 1 week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months in some cases for people to actually find themselves back in routine, back in action. Whereas the quicker you can shorten that gap, that's really what the game's all about, is because you're going to get hit, somebody's going to die, dog's going to get unwell, you're going to miss training sessions, you're going to get injured, it's going to be raining, something is going to happen. But how quickly you can bounce back into action, that's what the game's about.
It's like
and I think that over time you just make it shorter and shorter and shorter till it comes down to a matter of minutes where you can just be like, I'm back.
Well, it's like it's like all how quickly can you understand that your expectations. So sorry, I should say it. I'll say that again. It's when our expectations don't meet our reality. So like you expect this to happen, expect this to happen, expect this to happen, and then the reality isn't that. That's when the stress happens, and then that's when you start thinking, oh fuck, and you start losing your shit a wee bit, and everything's bad, and everything's a write off, and the days wrote off, and the weeks wrote off. All it was your expectations didn't meet your reality. So when you have more than one expectation, or like you're fine with like, this is the maximum amount of sessions I'll get in a week, for example, this is the minimum I can get in a week.
Yeah.
So something comes up, you've still hit the minimum. Brilliant. So expectations not meeting reality. That's what I think the issue is.
Is there not a saying as well, like something along like, I'll butcher this, like something along the lines of like you can either change the problem or you change your perception of the problem. Do you know what I'm trying to say with that? Like it's how you perceive the problem is the problem.
Well, picture this, right? You miss the bus, you get home half an hour, you miss the train, you get home half an hour later than you normally would. Then it means it eats into your evening time, so you go, you know what, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to prep my food, I'm going to just order in, blah, 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 right? You do all that. I've eaten, so I'm going to stay up late. You stay up. You think the week's over, you think everything's bad, right? So then it means that you don't train the next day and blah, 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 right? This might relate more to your guys than it would mine. But imagine you came home, right? And an actual jobby has hit a ceiling fan and there's shit all over your walls and ceiling, floor, couch, telly. Weeks later, you think you've cleaned it all up, but you find another wee bit, right? It's like confetti. You ever let confetti off in your house? We did it in Katie's mum's house, right? We let confetti off once, right? See, like months later, Hattie's like, found a bit of confetti. Imagine that was like jobby. It's not that bad, is it?
No.
So I've spoke about this a lot, and it's like perspective. It's like it's not shit in the fan, but perspective, and how perspective's like a huge thing, right? So you can really strip it back and be like, right, well, there's some fucking poor bloke in third world country, doesn't have fucking heat, hot water, or heat, water, internet connection, food, doesn't know what the fuck he's going to do the next day. It's not that bad, man. Bit of perspective, like get a grip. You fat dick,
man.
don't order in.
That was it. Do you know what times I'll be like, just in a wee bit of moan, man, oh fucking hell, and then I'll maybe scroll through Instagram or TikTok and see somebody that was homeless or somebody that something's happened to them. And I'm like, what am I really fucking moaning about?
I know.
Come on.
Do you know what gets me sometimes? Like seeing there's this like Cameroonian weightlifter, right?
Yeah, seen him.
You know
Seen him,
exactly who I'm
seen
going to
him.
talk about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
he's out training with rocks.
Mate.
Rocks on metal bars.
Concrete for
concrete
plates.
for concrete
Aye.
for weights, like lifting up like barrels and stuff, right? And then folk are complaining because like, the preacher curl in the gym's broke. I can't do my workout because this machine
Facts.
is broken. And I'm like, are you kidding? I sent one of my clients who was literally having a woe is me, my life's terrible moment about like the gym being too hard or whatever. There was a guy who was climbing Mount Snowdon, right? And all he had was a hand, right? He had an arm and a hand, right? Everything else was stumps, right? And the guy was fucking going up the mountain, right? Rapid as well. And I said to him, I was like, your life is not that bad. Have a bit of perspective.
Major.
People need tough love.
Yep.
Major.
People need, and do you know what, like, you need to say what needs. See if you're a coach and you're listening to this as well, right? Don't mollycoddle, is that the word?
Maybe.
Your clients,
Yeah.
right? I think people are scared of saying to their clients and people that they work with exactly what needs to be said in case they leave them.
Yeah.
That's exactly what people are paying you for.
You're doing a disservice if
People
you don't.
are paying
be
you
honest.
to be fucking straight with them.
100%. I think you need to remember that you're coach first, friend second.
Yes.
And I actually had this. I'm going to fucking throw him under the bus. Jason threw enough people under the bus during his podcast.
You're gonna try
They
to-
meant a fucking name drop. But yesterday he was like, "Oh, I had a bit of a cold and blah blah blah." Ordered an Indian man, just try and sweat it out. I'm like, mate, get
That's how it works.
I said to these exact words. I'm like, get a fucking grip. But bin that right now and go a run, fatty. I didn't say that, but I was like, get a fucking grip. 4 messages before, he was like, I want to lose this much before I go on holiday. So I just like replied to that message, like replied to that message on WhatsApp with a gif of like, it's Jimmy Butler, the basketball player. He's like, what? Right? And I was like, you just said this 4 messages ago, and then you've now just told me you want a fucking spicy Indian to try and sweat out this cold. I was like, one, that is the worst excuse I've ever heard for
Get a
anything.
fucking Lemsip, bro.
Aye, come on.
Go to a
What?
sauna.
That's the hardest. How that makes any sense in your head is beyond me. I need to do a better job, right? Second, I was like, mate, get a fucking grip. He's like, oh, shut up, man. I went to the gym still, and I went, replied to that same message again. I went, is this going to help you get this? No. So fucking get back to work, man. So you need to be coach first, friend second. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I would say for advice to any coaches out there. But
Totally.
thinking about the
Next,
phone
do we
for
have
the next
another?
bit. Yeah, we've
Yeah,
got-
there's
we've
the
got-
next
we've
bit,
got a few, we've
the
got a
aches
few.
and pains and stuff.
Oh wait, before we go on the obstacles, I had a thing noted down, and it was a other thing. In fact, we can kind of flesh this out a bit further. But it was like obstacles and challenges and all these wee things that you get are almost just like Crash Bandicoot vibes, levels to the game. Like wee things that you just need to get over them. You just need to go through them, and it's part of the whole deal, right? And it's just like the more obstacles, hard shit, things you need to go through, the better you end up becoming.
And think about what you gain from the obstacle.
Yeah.
It's insight. You're literally like getting data from how to deal with something, right? You can bury your head in the sand if you really want to, but then you actually don't learn how to deal with the problem. So when when it's happens again,
Yeah.
you're equipped. Because literally, that's what the fitness game is. You're just equipping yourself to deal with or to handle problems better.
Yeah. People want all these traits. People want to be like hardworking. People want to be in shape. People want to live like a good lifestyle, but people aren't willing to pay the price that gives you those things.
People don't want to lift no heavy ass weight.
I heard Alex Hormozy talk about this, and it was like, the price tag for if you wanted to be a patient person, would you give them stuff right away? It's like, no, you probably make them wait a long time. Right, if someone's to be patient. If you wanted someone to be hardworking, would you give them things easy? No, you probably make them work like really, really hard for a really long time. You wanted someone to be disciplined, you'd probably make them do the same thing repeatedly over and over and over again, even when they felt that they were going nowhere. So it's like, in order to, if you were to craft and build this person, you don't just give them the attributes.
Yeah.
You almost have to rank them up through levels. And like, he always talks about game theory and about how that everything should be played as a game. And this whole game of like the fitness thing, it's finite. No, infinite. It's infinite. Finite's the opposite. So it's infinite.
Never ends.
Never ends. It's ongoing. So you don't get in shape. You stay in shape. Much the same as like he referenced the thing is that you don't get married, you stay married. So you need to continue to work on it, be in it, build a relationship. Like you don't just overcome an obstacle. You continue to overcome repeated obstacles over and over and over again because you're playing these infinite games. So people take finite rules and apply them to infinite games, and that's why they get stuck because they think that the game ends, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that as well.
Hormozy knows.
Hormozy's
Mate,
great.
I know it's
I was
fucking-
watching him, watched
gold, man.
3/4 of him on Diary of a CEO with
He might have
Kirsten.
spoke about it on that, but I think he maybe spoke. I don't know if it's with Chris Williamson's podcast. Stephen Bartlett
You don't like him, do
does
you?
my fucking nothing. I used to like him, man, but he does my boxing.
Why?
He just keeps getting on fucking dorks that like say we were talking about it in the car, man. This fucking donut.
This is 100% it.
and it's no, the thing is he
He's
has
getting people on purpose, I feel, because
he
he knows
has
he's going to
a
get
fucking
clicks.
giant platform, humongous. His platform's huge, right? And he's confusing the masses with fucking shit messaging. And the thing is, the content within the actual podcast might not even be that bad. But see the fucking movie trailer clip
Yep.
promos that he does.
He's cat, he's hook and all that.
It's confusing people because
Big
let's face it, more people will see that than will actually watch the hour and a half long podcast episode to actually gain context on the thing. I'm not fussed about the context within the podcast. I'm annoyed at the fact that he's putting out information out there that will ultimately confuse people because somebody might see that and go, and he said, so that one of the catch headlines was sugar is more addictive than heroin, right? And then this isn't Stephen Bartlett saying this stuff. This is the guest that he
This
gets
was
on,
Dr.
right?
Philip Ovadia.
But he said that
Idiot.
sugar. Who's the guy?
Dr. Philip Ovadia.
Said that sugar is more addictive than heroin. Hold on. Hold on. Right. Disclaimer. Right. I've not done heroin. Hands up. Right. I've not done it. Right. I've not done it. I've done some shit in my time, but I've not done that. Right.
Not done the brown.
Never intend to.
Wait till your stag do it.
Stop laughing, John.
Things took a turn.
Aye,
What
things
happened to
took a
John
turn.
Gain line? Fuck.
He's on the blue. Dana.
Oh no.
Fuck's sake, Ali.
Fuck's sake,
Right, so I've not done it, right? I've had a lot of sugar in my time. Let me tell you something.
And also, but why would you rather be addicted to it? Go on.
Right,
No, I'm saying,
there's
bro.
not a fucking... You've seen some people, right? You see people, you've watched the documentaries, there's people that like... not kill them, the people that forget about their babies. There's people that like kill their dogs. There's people that like sell their body on the street.
Sell
There's
their
people
gran.
that there's people that lose their homes, their family, their everything over heroin. I don't think MD in history has probably done that from having a few
Over sugar.
donuts. Over sugar. Biggest lot of fucking nonsense in my life. Is sugar addictive? Maybe. Things taste nice, right? But like you said, what would you rather be addicted to? Fucking sugar or heroin? Hold on, you fucking donut. What a stupid thing to say.
It's mad.
Just because, and the thing is as well, because he's a doctor, it means that MD else that isn't a doctor or doesn't work in his field doesn't have like he's a doctor. So like, what do you know? Well, I've got fucking common sense.
Yeah.
I've got a brain, right? My brain controls my mouth, and my mouth can tell him to shut the fuck up because he's talking shite. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's bullshit. Anyway, what were we even talking about, man? I went off on a tangent there.
You did? Yeah. You do that sometimes.
I know.
That's
but
okay. That's okay.
sugar's more addictive
some-
than
we have
heroin.
some-
A fucking idiot.
Someone
man.
asked us if there's been times, this is from the gram, times that we've found ourselves in situations.
I think this just goes back to you, mate.
Why?
I don't know if you listened to the last episode.
Do you know? I could actually sit and listen to all the daft stories that Danny has just all day.
On its own.
Aye.
Yeah.
You have the Danny podcast. Do you have one you want to share?
I don't know. I've got a few, but do we go funny with it? Do we go serious with it? What was the question again?
You just asked it, you donut.
What did I ask?
I'm still in two minds about these headphones, by the way.
Situations, well, one in particular I can think of. So there's a time we were going to Liverpool for my mate's birthday party. And birthday party, just a birthday, just a wee birthday weekend. It wasn't a birthday party.
Birthday party sounds
It
like
wasn't a
kids.
birthday party.
Yeah.
It was a birthday weekend.
Is there a clown?
And we had
Hi,
to,
him.
we had to go really early. We had to go really early, right? So we're on 6:30 in Central for like 7 o'clock train or something like that.
Punctual.
You go to Liverpool. I think you go to, I can't remember if you go to Preston or
You go
Carlisle.
through
Preston, and you get the bus
Carlisle,
to Carlisle or
Penrith.
something like that, right? So anyway, they're all joiners and stuff, so they can't take drugs because they get drug tested on sites and stuff like that. So they're heavily into what's it called? The drugs that are on the illegal.
Legal highs.
Legal highs, that's it. So they're heavily into legal highs, right? So I'm like, we've all got a booze and all that for the trains that we're obviously going to get bevied. We're going to Liverpool for the weekend.
I love
Like,
this.
brilliant, man. So he's like, right, I've got 2 legal highs. What one we roll up? That one, right, cool. Rolled up and we were all smoking outside and that. Nothing really happened, right? We were on the train. Kind of felt a wee bit chill.
What is?
Not-
What? I don't even know what that is.
legal
keep going.
highs are just like
I literally don't even know what
different
that is.
herbs and stuff like that, different things that are legal. You can buy
Herbs.
them, put them together. You get something happens when you take it.
Like you
Most
fucking
of them-
rolling up bay leaves and
most of them
oregano,
don't
think you're
work.
going to get a
Stuff
buzz.
like, but it's like stuff that people sell, right? So it didn't. Nothing worked. Nothing happened, right? So anyway, we
Try
get to,
heroin.
we get to Preston, right? And it's 8 a.m, right? It's fucking early as shit, right? There's people going to work and all that, right? People fucking stoating about. And I'm like, right, cool. Right, sound, let's go. Like, but, right, buses, we've got 45 minutes to the bus. Right, sounds what I do. Fuck it, we'll roll up the other one. We've not tried it, right? So we did. We rolled it up. Fucking rolls it up. Right, cool. There's 3s that I'll like to try it. I'll try something, right? So anyway, first boy tries it. I'm not playing names under the bus. Second boy tries it. And I try it and I'm just kind of smoking. I'm like, how many you meant to take? 3? I've took 7 by this point, right? I took 7 big puffs by this point. First boy starts backing up into the wall and collapses, right? I'm watching this after taking my 7th while I've got the joint and I've gone. I'm watching him back up into a wall and collapse, go like that, out cold, right? The second boy does the fucking same, right? And I'm sitting there thinking, that's got to happen to me in about 4 seconds, right? Right enough, man. I fucking start to feel weird, man. And for some reason, you just want to go against a wall. I don't know what it was on this legal high. So I was against a wall now, right? And I just dropped to my knees as well. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, he's unconscious next to me. People try to wake him up. And other boys in front of me, near enough unconscious as well. And all I can remember is a time I was in an SOS van in the town. And I had 2 khakis, right? And I kidded on to the SOS people that I'd been spiked. My mate was like, he's been spiked. Right? So he's like, alright, I'll get you orange juice. That supposedly takes you down for like extreme highs. So I remember that as I'm watching him and as I'm starting to go, I'm about to black out here, like this isn't good. And I'm just going, orange juice. Couldn't speak. Orange juice, like fucking Leonardo DiCaprio when he's like Steve Martin, like, orange juice, right? So they ran and got orange juice, gave us Oasis, like whoever person was on the gun was getting fed with orange juice, boy in front of me fed with orange juice, and I'm drinking my Oasis. Every time I drink it, I go into it in my brain and I'm in the Oasis, right? and then I would put it back down again. I'd commit it and I'd go, thank fuck. And then I'd take a drink and then I'd go in it again. I'd be like, oh no. And I'd go into this Oasis, into this orange juice, right? I lived 45 years in my brain and I'm no joking.
Wow.
I'm no joking. 45 years. I was on my deathbed, right? And 2 of the boys that were there, Darren and Barry, they were sitting and they were at the deathbed with
I'm
me.
not going to throw names.
No,
I'm not
they
gonna say
didn't do it.
Oh, right.
So they were brand new. So they were like sitting there as I was my deathbed, right? And I was like, this is how I die. So anyway, I take my last drink of orange juice and I come out a wee bit and I'm like, oh, I feel normal again. And I did that for some reason, right?
You want to do to sleep it for
I
the...
put the orange juice above my head, just held it there.
Oh,
as
I
if-
thought you pulled it
as
over
if it
yourself.
was, no, there was not. There was like a wee bit in it, right? Took my keys out of my pocket and ran, just sprinted, right? sprinted. This point still gone, completely gone. And everybody ran after me, obviously, because it's 8 a.m. in fucking Preston, remember? In like a Thursday. People are going to work and I'm running by them, screaming, help me. Right? Screaming at the top of my voice, running. Some people say I'm still running, like I was that fast, you know what I mean? They were chasing after me and I got to a fence and that's just how I stopped. Nobody could catch me. Just got to a fence and I just stopped, turned around and said, that was a bit mad, wasn't it? And they were like, aye. Then they walked me back. They'll walk me back to where we were. But I'd ran for like 5 minutes. And I looked down and I'd pissed myself. Oh, you're fucking joke. Pissed all over myself, right? But the police were sitting where we were in a van, right? And I genuinely went para. Full on. Use a fucking use of section me. Use of section me. I thought I'd went mad. Kicked up there.
It's fine.
Is it still good?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's still good. I genuinely thought the coppers had been phoned. I was going to get took away. Turns out they were just getting a breakfast. They were getting fucking rolls at the shop. Went onto the bus, fell asleep, woke up. Turns out it was spice. We smoked spice. That day it get made illegal. No joking. You could have wrote it that day. No, maybe because somebody seen me and went, fucking hell, mate, that shit illegal. It get made illegal that day. So that was the time I smoked spice by accident. But I'll tell you what, the fact that was legal, you're like, okay.
Wow.
I forgot, do you know,
Change me.
I forgot how good that story was.
Wow.
I know.
It's
And then had an amazing weekend in Liverpool. What a great place, man.
Wow.
mad, isn't it?
That's
Do you remember the whole legal high thing?
Aye.
Like, obviously you do remember it.
I do.
I missed that boat, to be honest.
People who like would get drug tested and stuff like that, but well, I want something. Do you know what I mean?
Fucking hell, man.
Even back in primary school, I remember it. I don't know if you did. Back in P7, I remember people taking legal highs.
Nah, man.
That's when poppers and that were obviously kicking about.
I remember.
Used for stuff, different stuff nowadays, but you know what I mean?
That's absolutely fucking mental.
Relax your
How
anus.
much fear did you have off the back of that weekend?
I was different for weeks.
I've got a
Don't know if I've actually
I've got a
came
story
back
quite
down.
similar to that, to be fair. But we'll maybe gloss over that in another episode. We can keep yours as like a.
That was class.
We'll let that one sit. We can revisit mine later in a later episode.
I'll be back to
Are we just
value
moving
now.
on?
Back to fitness. I'll maybe say at the end if we get time, right? I'll maybe say at the end if we get time. So I got a question. It was CrossFit related, but we can draw this out to training so it suits everyone because the same things can apply. But I got someone saying, is CrossFit worth it for all the aches and pains and niggles I keep getting? Is it worth me even doing it in the first place? And then I had a bunch of thoughts like coming into that. But so let's zoom out first. I'll speak on it on my kind of CrossFit point, but saved because it's the same thing happens in training, and that was one of the things I said to them. Was like any form of training, you're going to probably pick up niggles here and there. So what's it? So is training even worth it for all the aches, pains, and niggles that you keep getting? Like, is it worth it?
Well, how many aches, pains, and niggles do people get because they don't move and don't do exercise?
Yeah.
With their
What's-
back, with their hip, with their
What's the
knees.
cost of not doing it?
What one would you rather?
Bingo.
All the health benefits with niggles and pains, maybe, like not all the time anyway. And what one would you rather?
Alright, that was it, and I was like, look, and again, I'll chuck my mother under the bus, right? For this one, I'm like that. She doesn't really exercise, doesn't really train, goes between like diets, typical kind of
Smoke
just like
spice.
smoke spice, typical kind of like 50-year-old ma, right? That you would find in Glasgow, the west of Scotland or whatever.
Sexy as my mum, mate.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a typical mum.
So like, and she's had like knee replacements, back issues her whole life. She's pure getting like arthritis in her hands and stuff like that. Like she still does stuff, looks after Hattie on a Monday and stuff like that. It's not like she's like crippled by like her inactivity or anything like that, but she's just like a little bit further along than what she probably should be had she been training. When you look at someone like my gran, right? She's like 85, goes to dancing 3 times a week, walks to the shops
We've
and
spoken
back.
about your
We
gran
spoke
on the
about it
podcast
before. She's a
before.
fucking superhero.
She's a legend.
She has a legend. She's a superhero and I'm like that. So she doesn't like train per se, but she's
active.
active. She's walking. She's carrying things. It's like, and you find that my gran at 80 years old is like more resilient than my mum at like 50 years old.
It's mad, isn't it?
And it's a wild concept to wrap my head around. And it just goes to show. So like you says, like I think your whole entire life, every single human being is going to encounter pain, aches, niggles, sore bits, regardless of what you do, what training thing you do, what sport you play, what sport you don't play, what your job is. If you're a grafter, if you're working a building site, you get sore hands, sore back, picking shit up, climbing up ladders, climbing down. You sit at a desk all day, sore back, sore knees, sore whatever. Doesn't matter. You're gonna be sore.
It's the whole choose your hard thing,
Aye.
isn't it?
Aye. You're gonna be sore.
You can choose the discomfort of weight training and all the things associated with that, or you can have heart disease and be overweight and hate yourself.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Choose your hard. Probably
It's,
the
it's not,
best
it's not
way.
as black and white as that, obviously. That's not the two options.
Pretty much, but
Right.
you're no far off it though.
Aye.
I know.
You're not far off it. So that was one of the things that I'd had noted down. It was like, I think that the idea of being pain free is false. People say, let me get you out of pain, physiotherapists, or whether it be certain people's coaching programs, being like pain free this, pain free that. There's ways you can manage pain. There's ways that you can dull pain down. There's ways that you can avoid injury. There's ways that you can heal injuries. But to completely be avoid of pain is it's not going to happen.
I
man.
have played a full rugby career with pain.
Oh,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you remember me in Pure Gym? I couldn't. So as a man in my 20s, I couldn't walk down stairs because my knees were that bad.
I remember a point where I could only walk downstairs backwards because my knees were that sore. I couldn't have my knee go that far forward down a step, so I'd had to walk downstairs backwards.
Sideways, but I'd use the lift in Pure Gym. Do you know how?
That's
I remember that. Man.
Do you remember? Right. But I would just drug myself up and play at the weekend.
Always popping.
By the time you get to Saturday, you're kind of a little bit less sore, and then you get going.
Probably not the best way to manage it.
Correct.
To manage it because I was probably too heavy and whatever. But I've learned a lot. Blah blah blah. But it's up here. Do you know what I mean? The battle's won between your ears.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
a million percent. I do think people across the board are soft as shit.
I completely agree.
Do you know what I mean? I know that's quite a harsh take.
No,
especially
no.
with-
it's really not, and
not.
it's really not. And I think that regardless of what you're doing, you're going to be in some degree of pain. So the question I got was like, I keep getting aches and pains and niggles through doing CrossFit, so is it even worth me doing it? And I was like, whatever training methodology you decide to use, as long as you're enjoying it and as long as you're seeing progress in it, like go for that. If you're not
Crack on.
enjoying doing CrossFit, don't do it. If you're not enjoying strength training, don't do it. Like find something that you're enjoying. As long as you're being active, like do that thing. I don't care what it is. And I've said this time and time again. But I was like, this concept that you're not going to be sore just doing strength training, or you're not going to be sore just running instead. It's like, it's false. You need to get your head out of it, because you kind of touched on this, and you touched on this as well. And it's like, you're going to be, when you're 50 or when you're 60, you're going to be sore back, sore knees or whatever. So would you rather be strong and resilient but have a bit of a dodgy back, or frail and weak and have a dodgy back? Like, what position would you rather be in? Because your back is probably going to get sore when you get old. Your
Common
knees are
sense
gonna
points
hurt.
to one, doesn't it?
Aye.
It really
If
does.
it's going to be sore anyway, you might as well have the other stuff that's good. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And so the person wasn't saying I'm going to do nothing, but it was like, was that one specific thing? Like, is it worth me continuing to do this?
Well, I can talk to doing CrossFit and not doing CrossFit, because I've only started it maybe 9-10 months ago. I was more injured through my 20s than I am now doing shit that was not CrossFit. Do you know what I mean? So maybe not even really running, just general bodybuilding. My back was fucking gubbed. Absolutely gubbed. Everyone will tell you, like hitting the deck, just walking. What's up, you? My back's away.
It's hilarious.
He's on the spice again.
He's on the spice.
on the spice
I had
again,
to
man.
cancel all my clients. Like, he would just be
I was
crippled on the floor.
hooked on it. Literally. literally. So like, and I was doing CrossFit. Do you know what I mean? I was doing safe shit. People like to call it,
Quote,
stuff
unquote.
safe. Like,
Quote,
cool,
aye.
right? I was very injured. Right now, I've got a couple of niggles. By the way, one of them for running. So it's like,
To be fair.
So you're like,
To be fair, running 60k.
yeah, that's left some permanent long-term damage, man. Like,
From
Not
only
as much
previously,
not as much as the space.
from
but
only previously running
I have 6 months before.
20. Oh,
I have Mara.
speaking on. Remember I mentioned the hardest geezer?
Yes,
He's set off.
that's right.
He's actually starting from bottom to top, not top to bottom, because he couldn't get visas sorted in time. But he started the most suddenly tip point
So
of
cool, man.
South Africa, and he's making his way up to the most northerly.
Is that the Cape of Good Hope?
Something like that. I don't know.
I would like to think we get growth on this podcast and have somebody like him on
Well,
one day. You know,
I'm going to say this. Well, when I spoke about him a couple of weeks back, actually, Instagram fucked me because it removed the audio on my thing. It said like I used a song or whatever, and then it removed the song, but also removed me speaking. So it's like when you go on and look at that video, it just says it's no volume. It has subtitles, it's no volume. So I might reshare it again. But he's now set off and I think he's doing like 50+ K a day. Every day. And now it's hard for guys like me and you to wrap our head around truly what 50K is like running it in one day, whereas you have run that.
I've not ran 50K collectively in my whole life.
And you played rugby for 20 years.
I know.
Like he is running 50K a day plus.
he'll be in pain every day. Like, so
Like you ran 50K, then another 10. But at that 50K mark, like how were you feeling?
well, 6K before it, my calf popped. So I was in a world of hurt, man. But everything in your body's telling you to stop. Every brain cell's like, you don't need to do this. You can just stop. So you're completely battling with your internal monologue every second. From everybody's different. Like it started from me just after the marathon mark. So my calf went, that's when it started. Up till that point, it was all right. But it's a battle. It's an internal battle. Everything's telling you just stop, just stop, just stop, just stop, just stop.
Mate, he's
the sense of achievement though. After it. Do you know? I think
that's just how when it comes to what's the reason. If you're doing it for a massive reason, determination's going to be there. Do you know what I mean? The motivation's going to be there. So you're going to.
The thing is, like, see this guy. I mean, there's just something next level about his mind. It's not the physical attribute of what he's doing. There's something about he jumps his stories every morning. He's on day 5, and there's another guy that I should probably highlight that I've been following. A guy called Will Googe who's running across America. You've seen that, and he's running mad distances, 50+ K a day. But the thing is, he's doing 50. He did 53K in 5.5 hours, right? And then he ran an extra 4K in 44 minutes just for breakfast or whatever. Like just to cap off, I'd do a wee bit extra. That's what he did yesterday. And he posted a picture, right? And I'm gonna try and get a wee pop up of him doing this, of where he currently is. So this was 21 hours ago he posted this, and it's the most southerly point of Africa, and then he's highlighted the most northerly point. He went, "This is how much progress I've made in 4 days of running the length of Africa. I've done over 215K so far. The scale of this continent and challenge is incomprehensible. One day at a time." And I'll show you the picture. See that wee blue dot? See that wee blue dot? Wow, man. On the map, it still looks as if he's
in the same place.
He's in the same place. And then on his stories, he was mentioning, he was like, I think I'll probably, so when do you aim to get done? He meant, if I don't get injured, seriously ill, hurt, kidnapped, scranned by a lion, probably about Christmas time.
that's
every day.
fucking
day.
mental.
The commitment that takes, man.
Do you know what? I think that maybe not to that scale, right? But I think everybody should do something
Hard.
their own version of that within their
110.
life. It doesn't need to be running. It could be climbing a mountain. It could be
I feel like challenge is inevitable, without a doubt. Whether that be challenge you've chosen or whether that be challenge that's going to present itself one way or another. I know for a fact I'd rather be fucking choosing the challenge that I'm facing.
Well, this is the point. So like, there's two different things. Well, you're gonna have things that come to you that are unexpected. You're gonna have unchosen hard, and you're gonna have chosen hard. How you deal with the unchosen hard is by choosing the hard shit. So if you choose to do hard shit a lot, when hard shit comes up that's unexpected, you're gonna be best equipped to deal with that. So if you had somebody, let's say for example, that someone that you had to depend on or count on, or you had someone that you needed to do something, but they didn't really do much with their life. They weren't really well seasoned. They didn't really, they were just kind of, they wouldn't be the type of person that you depend on. You depend on the person that's been through waves, been through wars, been through fucking all sorts.
has stories.
Has stories to tell,
War
right?
wounds. Yep.
War wounds, like that's the type of person. That's the
pointed at that,
No, I didn't point at that. But that's another story.
That's another story.
We have highlighted that before, the fact that Danny's got no foreskin. But we'll come back to that.
Fucking hell,
But
Jordan.
like, you're gonna that was it. It was Chris Williamson that said this, and it was like unchosen. We'll wrap up. He said that chosen suffering is how you deal with the unchosen suffering. So if you choose to suffer through hard things, hard tasks, like you were saying, you believe that everyone should do hard shit from time to time and test themselves. Like that gives you the tools that you're gonna have to be able to deal with the things that come your way that you don't expect. or you
Evan
don't
says
want.
it perfectly. You're future proofing yourself.
You know what, baby? Wrap that up.
You know?
Wrap that up.
Is you, Jordan?
Is it me?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Sorry, I went on a pure tangent there in my brain, man. That was episode number 41. What a good episode! 2 good episodes.
was funny.
Well, I mean, the past few episodes have been amazing. What you guys need to do, if you gain any form of value, if you find something interesting, something of interest, something of
Something interesting.
That's the same thing.
also an interesting thing.
interest.
if
you were
heard
inter-
so-
if you were interested
if you were
in anything.
interested in anything we spoke about, if what the fuck, I don't even know what you say.
Do you want me to help?
No, I've got it. If you liked what we did, share it, man. Right, share it with your friends, share it with your mom, share it with everyone. It's how we grow. You just keep messaging us all about how good the podcast actually is. We know that. Stop telling us, tell everybody else.
Goodbye.
Ciao.
Do the intro.